Hey everyone, Ben Deal down here in Houston, Texas. Welcome to the Expand podcast. I'm incredibly excited to have our guest Mark Guerra with us today. He is the co-founder of the Owner Finance Company, one of the leading companies in the owner financing, creative financing space in real estate in the greater Houston market. And Mark has got an incredible background, over 20 years in the real estate business. Grateful and excited to have the Owner Finance Company be a sponsor for our Expand event that's happening here June 20th in Houston. If you're interested, grab your tickets at expandhouston.com. There's a few left, but Mark wanted to welcome you to the show today.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for having me on here.
Absolutely. So Mark, I know we were just talking a little bit, but love to hear a little bit about your background, how you got into real estate, and then where it's got you to where you are today.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I just always wanted residual income. So, I was looking for rental properties at the beginning, and I had a couple of rental properties, and that's what kind of got me in the business. But it was really not the passive residual that I was looking for. To me, it became a job, right? And so that's whenever I started looking at other options. I had some tenants that weren't the greatest, tore up the houses and stuff, and so I fixed the house up and sold it and made some good money on it. That got me into rehabbing. So then I started rehabbing some houses, and then from there, I figured if I can fix houses up, why not build them? So I got into new construction, and then that got me into new construction, and then I got into small commercial. Then I got into hotels, designed to build my own hotel that I owned, and always looking for that residual cash flow. So I've pretty much done everything that has to do with real estate from the dirt. I own 2 sand pits, one in Pearland, and then, all the way to building, hotels. So everything from the ground up. And then at the end of the day, not everything was a success. It always sounds like the great, oh, you made it successful on everything, but I kind of felt my way up, and down and up and down. And then I got to a point where I'm at now, where I'm able to help other people, pay it forward, share what I've learned along the way. And one of the big things that I always wanted to do is be able to help other people to be able to get into homes, because when I was growing up, we didn't have any money. My dad, is from Mexico, and we were always, either renting or when I was born, we were living in a church, an old church. And so that's where I grew up. And so we didn't ever have our own home, so that was one of the big things I wanted to do, is be able to help other people that were in the same situation to be able to have their own homes. And so that's when I started, doing owner financing to be able to help people get in their homes. And so that's what we do now. I met some great, partners, Jen and Valerie, that we opened this company, and we worked on our finance company together to be able to help other people that for whatever reason can't get a home, can't qualify for a home, so that they can have that home ownership. One of the big things about our company is we really did it to help. So we're the only company that I know of that doesn't add anything to the price of the homes. I found out I've been doing owner financing for like 20 years, but I found out that these other owner finance companies were adding 15, 20, 25% to the price of the homes, and application fees and all this crazy stuff. And so when we opened ours, we decided to not add anything to the price and actually try to help these people get into the homes and be fair about it. So very proud of what we've been able to accomplish. And we just want to keep paying it forward and help as many people as we can. So I appreciate you having us, on the show today.
Yeah, man, that's so great. And I think when a lot of people look to get into real estate, they have this mentality or this mindset. I'm just going to do this one thing. But just hearing your journey, it sounds like it's been an evolution, one thing to the next. So especially when we talk about expanding your business, your mindset, your heart, how has that kind of trajectory, the process that you went through, what was kind of your mindset, your mentality as you went from one to the next, from a sand pit to building a brand new hotel? I mean, how did you work through that entire process?
I think I was very fortunate, to be able to grow my mindset first, personal development, personal growth. I was able to, learn a lot about that, growing up. Like I said, we didn't have a lot of money or anything growing up. My dad, it was hard for him to get jobs, but my mom worked also. and she was in Tupperware. I don't know. That's kind of old, right? Dates me, right? But she had these cassettes that they would give her, I guess, from her training events, and I was still like a little kid, and she would play them all the time. So I would listen to them, and that's what kind of got me into personal development. And and she would always say she believed in me and I can do whatever I want. So I think that was more powerful than anything else, than having money, than having everything else. So that I've always kept that, and I listen to audible books every single day. And I try to always go to different training events. Even today, even after being in the business over 20 years, continue to grow, continue to learn from other people. They have already had that success, and setting goals and never giving up is what I did. I never give up. Things changed, like you said, evolved from one thing to another. But the ultimate goal was to achieve the time freedom, and to be able to have that, you need to have financial freedom. So the financial freedom that allows you to have the time to do what you want when you want. And then all of a sudden your purpose starts to change along the way. Before it was all about just making money. And then now everything changed. I figured out what my real purpose was. And it was helping other people to achieve what took me all these years to figure out and to achieve for myself.
Yeah, that's so good. And when you were going through your journey of real estate over the last 20 years, what was it that you kind of found yourself to keep coming back to that, kept you moving forward, kept keeping you failing forward, as you said? Because I know a lot of people, they'll get into real estate or they'll get into real estate investing and they'll say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. The opportunity is unlimited. I can create time freedom, generational wealth. And then they realize the reality of the work and the challenge and the trials. But what was it for you that kept you failing forward?
I think that it was because I tried multiple businesses, more than I even mentioned, right? Car lots, like a lot of other businesses that did not have anything to do with real estate. And every time I did one of those businesses, I would lose everything. Every time I would try something, it wouldn't work. But even though I bought some rental houses and it didn't work, the worst thing that could happen happened. They didn't pay the rent. They disappeared in the middle of the night. They tore the whole house up. And then I fixed it up with the insurance money, and then I sold it and it made like $30,000. So I was like, as my experiences with all the different businesses I'd ever tried, when the worst case scenario happened to my real estate business, I still made money at the end of the day. So I've always fell back on real estate because it's an actual asset. It's a house. You know what I'm saying? It's not an investment in stocks, which I lost money on, and other things like that, because that was just paper. But an actual house, no matter what happens, you're going to be able to have that house there. You can rent it. You know what I'm saying? It just gives you a lot more opportunity.
Yeah, that's so good. And I think a lot of people will hear you on that. And being a lifelong entrepreneur myself, just to hear, that going to that moment of losing everything, like where there's been that kind of bottom of the valley, or, you've kind of been through it all. I can think of one moment in particular where I've had that. And I'm starting to call those, in these conversations we've been having, kind of expansion moments. So if you go back and you look back to one point in time, one trial, one tribulation, where everything has literally changed since that moment, is there one point in time that you think of?
I think I learned my big lesson in 2008 and 9. I was building a lot of houses. I was building about 20 houses at a time, 3 different subdivisions. I had almost $1 million model home. Everything was sold. All the inventory was sold, and then the bank stopped lending. And so I lost everything. And I actually gave, I forgot how many, probably like 18 houses back to the bank. They were already sold and finished, but the lender went under. It was Countrywide. They went under, and I had already built these houses, and so they didn't pay me. So I felt like, I did what I was supposed to do, but I didn't get paid. But I learned a lot from that. I did lose everything, but fortunately I had that hotel, so I had somewhere to stay, when I lost everything. But that was the only thing I had left after all the other houses were gone. But yeah, I just started all over again, and you learn from those. Now I was like, man, if I would have known now what I know now back then, I could have actually taken advantage. And instead of being one of the ones that lost everything, I would have made more money than I ever had because of what was happening, like we're doing now. Because I learned from all that. And these last few years, we've made more money than I ever made in my life. And currently, we're making more money than we've ever made before. This first 3 months, just in fix and flips, we made over 2 million pure profit, just the first quarter of this year. Last year, I did 77 fix and flips outside of all my companies, like just on the side, and created over 50,000 a month in pure passive residual income, which is what I teach my students and what we were actually wanting to do, from the very, very beginning. So I finally figured it out. All these years later, we learned from the past. And if you know what I know now, and what you probably know, this time we're in right now is the best time to expand that there has ever been, and maybe will ever be in our lifetimes again.
Yeah. And I agree with you. And that's kind of the little tagline for our event. In times of contraction, that is the opportunity to expand. And whether it's in your business, your mind, or your heart, what does expand mean to you, and why is it important?
I think that it's super important, because if you stay in the same spot where you're at, you're probably gonna go down, not up, right? You're gonna slowly contract instead of expanding. I'm big on goals, and I always set goals every year, and I set the goals super high, as high as possible, because you can't be scared to set big goals. Worst case scenario, you don't hit them, but you hit way higher than where you would have. Once you figure out something that works, then you just do it. I did, like I said, I wasn't really in the business of doing fix and flips. I did new construction, things like that. But when I realized that it was a lot quicker, you can buy it, fix it up, sell it within 30 days or so. And I created a concept and something that actually worked, that was tested and worked. What do you do next? Expand. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm going to buy all the houses I could possibly buy. And that's why I started buying. Like I said, 77 last year. This year, we want to do over 100, so we want to get bigger and expand, your mind too, your beliefs. If we're only going to make what we are. Your value is what you get paid. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't get paid enough at my job. I don't get paid enough. I was like, you're getting paid exactly what you're worth, right? If you want to get paid more, you got to become more. You got to expand your mindset. You got to expand what you're doing. You got to become bigger and more valuable, and then you will attract the bigger pay, the more money.
Yeah, man, that's so good. Yeah, and that's what one of my Coach Bird, he's actually going to be at our event. He says you get paid for your past experience, and you also get paid for the value that you bring to the market. So the amount of value, just like you're saying, the amount of value that you're bringing to the market, that's how we get compensated. And so, yeah, it's incredible. I mean, the volume of flips. So, I just know you through the lens of the owner finance company, but you've got the owner finance company. It sounds like you've got, your fix and flip operation. What does your world look like in the real estate world across, all the operation, or like your entire business that you have?
I'm very passionate about the owner financing. That's the number one business out of all the businesses that I have, because we're helping people, so it feels good when you're able to give back, help people, and things like that. But really, after all the businesses I've tried and everything, becoming the bank, I think is what I should have done from the beginning, right? Because if you really want that passive residual income, you want to do something where you do it one time and you get paid forever. And rentals are good and all that stuff once you make a lot of money, because you need depreciation, you need write-offs and things like that. But I'm telling you, owner financing, that's the best business I have out of all the different companies, and we plan on expanding to other states. We might announce it at the event, I don't know, but we're already about to open another state that we're going to expand to. But yeah, we have that same mentality of expanding, and we have been having a huge amount of growth. When everybody else is saying that, rates are going up and all these things are happening, for us, that's the best case scenario, because less people are now able to qualify for traditional loans through their bank. And we're starting to get all these customers, people that want to buy homes that can't qualify. And it's not people that have bad credit. It's not people that don't have money. We closed a loan. I think it was not last week, but the week before, for $2.8 million on a residential home for somebody, owner finance. We owner finance it to them. And we've done other deals, $1 million, $2 million, things like that. We just had one come in the other day, $4 million, so it's not what people think. like, oh, it's people that can't afford it that are trying to buy these little homes. Everybody's in this situation right now, and there's more and more people that need another option. They need another option, and we're able to help everybody, not just people that want to get into homes, but we've been doing a lot of realtor training events where we're able to help realtors that are now able to offer owner financing on their properties because of our company. So we partner with them. It's at no cost to any realtor out there. And you can now offer owner financing on your listings, which is going to help you get more listings. It's going to help you sell your properties faster because it puts you in that 1%, right? If you go on MLS and type in owner financing, 1% of the listings are owner financing. So that's going to get you to have more viewings and to be able to get higher offerings on your properties. So it's we're helping a lot of people. It's not just the clients that are buying the houses, the realtors, but we've also been asked to speak at other events like other lenders, hard money lenders. We spoke at Jet Lending event recently, the owner finance company, to show people that have these hard money loans that it's hard for them to get out, to move the properties now, or to get out of their loans. And we're able to help them by using owner financing. So now they can sell their homes owner finance through our program, and now they're able to move their houses quick. It's once you put that owner financing, I haven't held a house for more than 5 days. So our house is selling less than 5 days. That shows that there's a huge demand for this product.
Yeah. And for those that don't know what owner financing is, could you just give the quick, 30,000 foot view, the quick, definition of how, you explain owner finance?
Yeah, definitely. So owner financing usually is somebody selling their house, right? Like the owner, you own it and you can sell it yourself and you can finance it to somebody. So it's very similar. We actually do purchase the home. So our clients can come to us, get a pre-approval just like a bank, and then they go pick the house they want. The only difference is that we actually buy the house first and then turn around and sell it to the client, where we finance it to the client. So the biggest difference in owner financing is that we can set the approval. We're going to approve the client, which we've approved 99.9% of everybody that's come to apply with us. So pretty much if you have the ability to pay, that you can prove that you're making enough money to make your payment, and you have enough money for the closing cost and everything, the amount of money needed to close the loan, your down payment and closing costs, then we're going to approve you. So it's a simple way to get into a home. We don't care about tax returns and all this other stuff. So it just makes it a lot easier. It's another option.
Yeah. And so it sounds like for you, for your company, it's not tied directly to a specific property. It's any property on the market.
Just like a bank, just like you go into Wells Fargo and get a pre-approval and go pick whatever house, you can go on our website, theownerfinancecompany.com. Within 24 hours, you can have a pre-approval letter. You can take it to your realtor, and then the realtor will help you find a home just like any other pre-approval letter. Like I said, the only difference is instead of you buying the home, we buy the house for you. So we buy the house, then we turn around and sell it to you the next day.
Ooh, that's awesome. Yeah, and I think that's a really innovative, kind of space. And I know there's been a lot of talk about creative financing, and really owner financing, and kind of the model that you guys have is really leading the way in that space, because I know a lot of times this creative financing can get pretty confusing with a lot of the languages and terms and things people use. But why are you finding people are specifically working with you and your company?
I think because we're so close to being like a bank. We're actually a lender, and we follow all the guidelines. We don't, it's about the client for us. We want to find our client, the client that comes to us, their best interest for them. When a client comes to us, we feel like there's another program where they can get a loan for a lower rate or whatever that we feel they can qualify for. I've told them that. We tell them, look, there's a product that you qualify for. But if they don't qualify for any other product, and then we will let them know how our product works, so we can help them get the loan. We're 100% transparent. We show them how everything's going. We don't have any extra fees. We don't have any application fees. We don't have any training fees. We don't have, add to the price of the homes like everybody else. So I think that, because we treat the client to their best interest, and we're doing everything in their best interest, we've been able to grow. We really don't do any advertising. We have almost a zero advertising budget. We go to events, we have booths and stuff every once in a while, but we're not dumping money in advertising. I would say probably 90% of all our business is referrals, like repeat, referrals. We also have clients that have bought houses from us more than once already, and so it's growing. You take care of, your clients, and we always try to give more than everybody else. And I think if you just do that and you give more, you're going to get more.
Yeah. And so what was it for you? Because I think a lot of people, when they think about real estate, they want to get into real estate investing or to become an agent and participate in the business. They think it's very transactional. And what I'm hearing from you is it's not that way. You guys are not looking to just get a deal done. You're leading with a lot of value, and it sounds like a lot of opportunity. So what was it for you that kind of made that shift where, hey, we're going to be clients, we want to serve our clients? What was it, especially from a lending perspective, that, was like, hey, this is the opportunity for us?
Yeah, like I said, just from, what I had to go through. Also, after that happened in 2008, I had to rent a house because I couldn't, it messed up my credit. I couldn't get a house. Nobody would even rent me a house because my credit was messed up. I never rented before in my life, and I had to rent a house, and it was so hard to get a house. And so if this program existed back then, I wouldn't have had to rent for like 3 years, till I was able to fix everything that I had. So for me, I was very passionate about, the reason we opened the company was to help people that nobody else wants to give an opportunity to get into a home, so that they can get that home they want. That was our our primary reason for opening the company. And I think that the fact that we're the only company that I know of that doesn't add anything to the price of the home, I mean, that says it right there. People think we're crazy. They're like, so you have a company and everybody else is adding 15, 20, and you don't add anything? And I'm like, no. And they don't understand that. And once other people started to find out, other realtors and other people that had been referring their clients to these other companies, that I feel like it's putting them in a bad situation, because if you're adding even just 15% to the price of the home and they're putting 10, 15% down, they're a lot of times they're upside down. They're not going to ever be able to refi for a long time because they're already starting upside down, especially if you're putting 20, 25% on top of what the price of the house is. You're putting them in a bad situation. So instead of helping them, you're putting them in a worse situation. So I think just by making that our primary focus and really taking that time to explain the program, because it is different, like you said, it's not your normal, you're going to a bank. There are a few more steps you got to take, but I think if we explain it to them and we're transparent on everything we're doing, I think they really appreciate that. And that's what's allowed us to grow our business to where it's at right now.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, there's a lot that goes into it. It's the education piece, the value, the relationships that you're bringing into the market. So, agents like myself, investors, that we know it's an option, because even though owner financing is around, I think the model that you all have is really unique, because it's not me that owns my own home that's looking to finance it. You all are actually the facilitator of going in and becoming, like you said, that bank that will go in, purchase the home, and then allow for that owner financing to happen. So there's definitely a need in that market. And it's exciting to hear how you guys are really meeting that need. And even with the changing of the different, economic environments that we're in right now, how your business is really growing. So it sounded like for you guys, expansion means, growing your business here locally, Houston. And do you want to share with everyone where you guys currently operate?
Yes, we're in all of Texas. So we're doing all of Texas right now. So anywhere in Texas, and we just started to expand our creativeness in lending also. So we're offering other products now besides just straight owner financing. We've been also helping people get into real estate that don't qualify for regular loans on investment properties, multifamily, 2, 3, 4 unit properties. Okay. But also another thing I wanted to mention before we get off is, and I think this is going to help us to really expand, is that we've seen the need to have a new option for people that don't have that 15, 20% to put down on a home, because home prices went so high that a lot of our clients that were coming to us just didn't have, think about it, 20% of 300,000, which that was the average, home, it's a lot of money. You're talking about, $60,000 to bring to closing. So we had so many people telling us, can you help us? Can you help us? We only have 20,000, 30,000, and I'm like, I mean, nowadays that's how much your closing costs are, and appraisals and insurance and escrows. So what we did was we started to buy properties to be able to, like, at foreclosures, different things like that. So that's why I started my fix and flip programs, so that we can offer an option to clients that only had $15,000 total, $20,000, $25,000, so that they could also have a home. See, because like I said, when we started this, it was to help people get a home that couldn't get a home. But what started happening over the last 4 years, as home prices went up and up and up and up, we were not able to help the people I wanted to help that didn't have enough money to qualify for our own programs that we started to help them. So now on our website, within the next week or so, it's going to pop up, and we're going to have inventory on there where you'll be able to buy houses with as little as 15,000 total, all in, closing costs and everything included, to be able to get you into a home. We currently have the homes. They sell so fast, but we have the homes. We just don't have them on the website yet. But that's a new program where we're going to be able to help people get into homes, even if they don't have that 20%, 25%, to put down.
Wow, that's incredible. And I know, when I've got clients, investors I work with that are looking to do owner finance, that's immediately the one market that's the one disqualifier for 95% of the people that would reach out to me, for the owner finance. It's typically that 10, 15, 20%. Like you were saying, if it's a $300,000 home, it's 60 grand. Sometimes people need to bring out of pocket. And so if you guys are providing that option and opportunity with these inventory homes, man, that sounds exciting.
Yep, we're really excited about the program.
Yeah, it's so good. Well, hey, Mark, I definitely am grateful. Appreciate your time. If anybody's interested in learning more about the Owner Finance Company, where are the best places for them to go?
The ownerfinancecompany.com.
All right, the Owner Finance Company. And I know you're on Instagram or on that same handle. So, and more importantly, if you want to meet Mark and the Owner Finance team, they are one of our key sponsors for Expand Houston. They will be in the room. They're the only owner finance company that we have invited to join us. So we're super excited and grateful. We believe in the business and the service that they provide. And you've got the opportunity to meet Mark. Not only is he an experienced entrepreneur and real estate investor, just think about the breadth of experience that he has available, and more importantly, the heart to serve. So thank you, Mark, for joining us today, and excited and grateful to have you guys take part June 20th at Expand.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ben.